Up next, we have Seth Rollins in Triple H's office. He is kind of annoyed that he has to defend his title tonight. And Triple H is just like, it's all about building a legacy, Seth. You opened that door with that open challenge last week. And then Rollins is just like, you know what? If Cena can do it, I can do it better.
That's right, Seth. Keep feigning that confidence until the very end.
And I love, too, how Triple H is just screwing him at every turn. And yet Triple H's words always find a way to just turn Rollins into this puppet.
I know, right?
Like, Rollins isn't even annoyed by Triple H anymore. He's just so inspired by this father figure trying to make him better. He's so naive. I love it.
I wonder if Triple H ever laughs about it with Steph, like, hey, Steph, watch this. I'm going to screw with Rollins and I'm going to make it seem like I'm motivating him. And then he gets done telling Rollins.
And it's just like, Seth, it's all about building your legacy, man. And then Rollins just like, yeah, you're right, Dad. I'm going to do this. And then Triple H just laughs his ass off with Stephanie in the back.
What a dumbass.
I love that you added the at the end there, too. He hasn't really talked like that since last year's Survivor Series build-up either.
But we can never forget, though. We can never forget.
That's such a Rock. The Rock started that whole thing, too. Did you know that?
I believe, you know what? I didn't, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
He did, yeah, because Triple H was in the ring. I don't even remember who was with Stephanie or with China. It was probably with Steph. And he's just like, you're down there running your mouth. And then he did the impression like, I am the gamer. Like, he did that whole shtick. And yeah, that's where that whole thing comes from. And it was, I don't even remember. It was like 2000, 2001, something like that.
I love, too, that you have Seth refer to Triple H as dad. I can just imagine if that slipped out. Yeah, Dad.
Dude, I seriously imagine that they are just a family. It's Mom, Dad, and baby Seth.
Baby Seth.
I mean, I know that Triple H and Stephanie are a little bit too young to be Seth's parents, but it's really not that out there.
Dude, I'd prefer baby Seth chance over Justin Bieber chance.
Yeah, right?
But, yeah, I enjoyed this segment. I think I enjoyed it more after you got done analyzing it. But, yeah, I have nothing more to say about it if you want to move on.
Let's see here. Seth Rollins is 29. Triple H is 46. Stephanie McMahon's 38. So, yeah, Stephanie kind of puts a monkey wrench in that whole theory. But, you know, just imagine.
I can't even believe Stephanie isn't in her 40s yet. Wow. That's kind of surprising to me. But, yeah.
She's like similar age to Rosa Mendez and Layla.
Right.
That's kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, Triple H pumps Seth up. Seth buys into it, drinks the Kool-Aid.
And Seth completely buys into it. It's nothing like Orton, because like back when it was Triple H and Orton wouldn't buy any of Triple H's shit. Like Triple H would be like, it's about building a legacy, Randy. And Randy just like, dude, I don't want to defend the title tonight. Screw off.
See, that's why they got rid of him. Randy was too sensitive for his own
good. Because he knew he wasn't naive enough.
I love the faces he used to give him too. Like, it's all about building a legacy, Randy. And he would just like narrow his eyes, kind of look at him like, I
see right through you, Hunter.
I'm gonna go prepare for the title defense I shouldn't be having, and then we're gonna continue this conversation later. Oh man. All right, bro, so what came after this, man?
After this, we had a recap of Roman Reigns challenging Wyatt and Harper to a match with himself and Ambrose at SummerSlam from SmackDown. They showed Bray accepting as well. And then we get into our third match, which was the number one contenders match, Cesaro, Orton, and Owens. I don't really have a lot to say about this. It was a solid 20-plus minute match. All the guys pretty much got their shit in, and Orton won with an RKO on both guys, although it is worth noting that he ended up pinning, ultimately, Cesaro. So say what you will about this big old Cesaro push. They're clearly still worried about protecting Kevin Owens.
Which, isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, not at all. Do I think Orton should have gone over here? You know what, maybe in the grand scheme of things, it was the right move. Because I feel like Sheamus Orton, which we'll get into that later, needs more juice than Owens Cesaro. So I guess in that perspective, it really wasn't that bad. Plus, if you want to do the slow burn with Cesaro, heartbreak's a necessary ingredient. I'm sure a lot of people with the Cesaro section signs were really thinking, my God, we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Cesaro in the main event. And Vince McMahon's just in the back like, nope. So, not a bad match by any means, very entertaining, and Orton goes over in spectacular fashion. So, well done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how spectacular, but it was. I think the most spectacular thing about that finishing sequence was Cesaro jumping over Owens when Owens went for the pop-up powerbomb.
Yep, and then Owens eats an RKO, and then Cesaro right after him. So,
Yeah. All right. So up next we had an Ambrose promo. Roman Reigns joined him for it, but it started out as Ambrose. They talk about how Bray Wyatt doesn't care about Luke Harper, and that lack of a mutual respect is what's going to cost them because Ambrose and Reigns are brothers, and I think it was Reigns even had Ambrose run down how he likes all of his favorite drinks. It was like, how do I like my coffee? And Ambrose was just like, hot with a hint of sugar. And then Reigns said, how do I like my water? Room temperature. And then Reigns was like, how do I like my beer? Ambrose was just like, ice cold. And Reigns just like had this big cheesy smile on his face, like beer is the greatest thing on the planet.
I love the friendship that those two have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This segment was ridiculous though. You can't even deny that. Like,
Certainly not.
they're not even talking about like, oh, well, you like your coffee with 3 creams and 2 sugars. No. And by the way, you also like just a dash of cinnamon creamer in there too. No, they didn't do that. They were literally just talking about what temperatures Roman Reigns liked his drinks at.
Right.
It was hot, room temperature, and ice cold. Like, what?
Oh, man.
That is the dumbest thing. That doesn't show brotherhood. That shows that you guys are around each other a lot. Like, Daniel Bryan could probably come up with that for Ryback, too.
And actually, in a way, I mean, if you really wanted to reach, I think it kind of makes Ambrose look bad, because how does he know that so intimately? I mean, did Roman have him get him all of his drinks when they were in the Shield? The hell is this?
Yeah, like, where's the mutual respect between you guys?
Exactly. Why didn't Ambrose ask any questions of Reigns to really demonstrate the brotherhood? Where was
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Reigns, and how do I like my coffee? And Reigns is just like, we didn't rehearse this part, bud.
And then Ambrose just gets that sad face that he did when Seth betrayed them. I'm just like, oh.
What you say? yeah, it was kind of weird. This segment, man, I don't know, just ridiculous to me. But then, speaking of ridiculous, we get another look at this whole Lesnar Taker thing, and we get more build up, and they talk about how next week they're going to be in the same building at the same time. Obviously insinuating that we're probably going to have another big brawl next week. But then they also say that after tonight, we're getting SummerSlam Reckoning. Because, they couldn't think of anything more ridiculous to sell this match.
Look, I feel like Heyman already did the job for everybody. Now I think they're just trying too hard. I mean,
Exactly.
The promo Heyman cut last week freaking sold, man. I know it sold a lot of other people too. I remember I saw one line from a column I was reading. It said, if I came into an inheritance, Paul Heyman would get every single bit of it, because just the way he sells you on things, I would buy everything he was selling. So, he's just that good. I feel like now they're almost kind of diluting his efforts. I mean, when Heyman goes out of his way and says this is the match too big for WrestleMania, why not just run with that instead of trying to, build on top of that with other new things? I mean, SummerSlam Reckoning, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
we both did that at the same time.
Yeah.
So, do we want to move on to the next segment?
Absolutely. What came after this?
Ambrose Harper.
Yeah, I couldn't really get into this match. I'm just going to level with everybody. Yeah, I was kind of bored.
I will say, though, I'm glad that they gave Ambrose a black wife beater to wear so that we could tell them apart.
Absolutely,
because
I know.
Otherwise,
right?
I wouldn't have been able to tell them apart.
I know, they're just so identical. They're like,
I mean, are we even sure that it was Ambrose who had the black wife beater on? Because I don't know.
The world may never know, my friend. It may just be like the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. Never know, ever.
Look, man, you can't even say that, because even in those commercials, that owl proved that it was 3.
I sent some shortcuts there, but that's not the issue here. Match starts breaking down towards the end. It looks like Ambrose is going to capitalize. Roman Reigns neutralizes Bray Wyatt. Ambrose, though, I think he goes to the top rope and he gets straddled there. He falls off, which makes him prone to the discus lariat from Harper. Harper gets the win. I guess for me, why I was so bored, Ashton, and it's not to say that the tag team match at SummerSlam won't be any good, but 2 points about that, if I may. point A, I'm just going to level with you. Maybe I'm being too cynical, but I really wish that it would have been the 6-man tag, with Sting and the replacement being, well, I mean, Adam Rose did do that one teasing tweet where I thought it was going to go back to Leo Kruger or just any new Wyatt family member, so I think I would prefer the 6-man tag. And B, even beyond that, because the tag match will be good, just like you said earlier, Dean Ambrose, I'm really waiting for him to turn now. Because
Yeah.
there were times I thought he could be that top face, like I really did, and I was all right with us sticking to the experiment and committing to it. But now, man, it's like he is just an afterthought, and it kind of angers me because I get that we want to build Roman Reigns. This is nothing against Roman Reigns, but I don't think you need to use Dean Ambrose
What if
to
Ambrose
further.
turns on Reigns and joins the Wyatt family?
See, I was thinking about that, but then how would you feel about that, Ashton? Because I don't know how I feel about him turning heel at the expense of like running in the same league as the Wyatt family. I want him
Yeah.
to be his own man, you know?
Exactly. I feel the same way, but it seems like something WWE would do.
They're probably going to do it, to be honest, because I mean, you brought it up, so I'm definitely assuming you got the same feeling. All this talk of brotherhood on Ambrose and Roman Reigns' side, and like, oh, we've got the advantage because we're brothers. That doesn't sound like heavy foreshadowing at all.
No.
I don't know, man. I think for me, I don't want to be too hard on the SummerSlam match or anything here. I think for me, what it really boils down to is I am so ready for Dean Ambrose to do better things. Because say what you will about Seth Rollins, I mean, he's gotten to be champion. He's gotten to be in the main event spot. Say what you will about Roman Reigns. He won the Rumble. He got to main event of WrestleMania. Like, I'm not saying Dean Ambrose should have done all those things by now, because if you want to do a slow burn, fine, but there's not even really a slow burn. This guy is stuck in one gear right now, and
Yeah.
it's really sad, because as much as I love Seth, I'm still of the belief that Dean is probably the most talented guy among the three. Especially the stuff that you showed me in FCW. I kind of have you to blame me for this, because you showed me all the really good stuff of Ambrose, and I'm like, man, that guy has such a ceiling, it's ridiculous. And I feel like he is just rooted to the floor right now. So I guess I just had a little rant built up in me. I apologize for venting, but that's just really how I'm feeling about Dean Ambrose at the moment.
No, dude. There's no reason to apologize. I agree with pretty much everything you said.
But I mean, how do we get him back on track, Ashton? Because I
Well,
mean,
he needs a
like,
heel turn. That's what it really is. I mean,
well, yeah,
normally it's funny because there are a lot of people that say that about everybody. Like everybody's solution to why somebody is boring is just, oh, they need to turn, they need to turn, they need to turn. But to me, like if there was a list of people that needed to alter their alignment, Dean Ambrose would be at the top of the list for people that need a heel turn, and I think Rollins would be at the top of the list of people that need a face turn.
yeah,
They should just
yeah,
have a match with each other and pull an Austin Hart.
yeah, yeah, really. Um,
Ambrose just busts Rollins open and then locks him in a sharpshooter until he passes out. Yeah.
my God. Or hell, I mean, if he really wanted to give a nod to all the people that have been following him from the beginning, like you and like
The
others,
Regal
look,
stretch.
Regal stretch, yeah, man,
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, I'm really glad we got to have this discussion because I know what a huge Ambrose fan you are, and you know I love the guy too, and it's just really a shame that we see him like this again. There are good moments with him as a babyface. I mean, even that match with Big Show recently where he just kept beating the count. I like that, but it's just not going anywhere. Like maybe I'd feel better about him being a babyface if I knew that he had a destination. But instead, I think he's used to further facilitate the rise of Roman Reigns, which, good on Roman Reigns, you get your spot and you claim it and you own it, but I don't think that means that Ambrose should get the scraps. So,
Yep.
just kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.